Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So it's Tuesday, which means it's time for our tier list Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, we do a tier list. Pretty straightforward. And considering the fact last week I did every single team starting goalies, I thought that now we would do every single team's number one centers. So here it is. We got best, star, elite, good, solid. And for this, I went with who I think is the best center on the team. Some of these guys might start out on like the second line. For example, the Utah Hockey Club. I think Barrett Hayden's slated to be the first line center with Keller and Schmaltz. But obviously, I think Logan Couture is going to be the better player this year, and was the better player last year. So as a result, he's on this instead of Barrett Hayden. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Pretty goddamn straightforward. Up first, Bo Horvat. You might think I'm biased and put him in elite, but I'm going to put him in good. I think that he's teetering on maybe being elite. He's a solid around 35 goal, 35 assists. That's like basically what he put up this season for my New York Islanders, while also being solid defensively. He doesn't blow you out of the water, but like a perfectly serviceable low-end number one center. The Islanders just thankfully have Brock Nelson as their second-line center, who's like just as good as Bo Horvat, so that makes them have a pretty solid center duo. But Bo Horvat, nobody is really blown away. So as a result, I'm going to go with good. Nathan McKinnon, best. And by the way, this is going to be like best, like just McDavid. There's going to be other guys in this. So clearly Nathan McKinnon, who after this season kind of solidified himself as the no doubt second best player in the entire NHL. He's going to get, rightfully so, a spot in the best slot. Ryan O'Reilly, similarly to Bo Horvat, around 70-ish points. Very, very good defensively. It's going to be interesting to see when he'll finally start aging, because it really hasn't happened. We thought it was kind of the 2023 season, but this year with Forsberg as well as Nyquist on that top line, he was great. He was great, but definitely no longer 2019 like star Ryan O'Reilly. Anze Kopitar, I'm also gonna put in good. He's basically just like Ryan O'Reilly, around 70.2. I probably should have split them up. Boone Jenner, solid. You can make an argument for Adam Fantilli. He's gonna be the number one center next year, but regardless, either of them are pretty low end. Adam Fantilli's going to be a superstar center. Don't get me wrong, but heading into next season, him or Boone Jenner are just like perfectly solid. Boone Jenner, great deal though. He's making like $3.75 million to be around the 50 to 55 point, very good two-way player. Jack Eichel, he gets a star, though. In my opinion, he is around the top 20 player in the NHL. Can't stay healthy, but when he's healthy, he's around 40 goals, 50 assists, 90-point pace. Stud both ways. He's a star. He's a top 25 player. Sean Couturier, you look at this, if we did this 2020, 2021, he'd be like, definitely be an elite, maybe even teetering on star, but just has not been the same player since coming back from injury. Only like 34 points this year, as still okay defensively, but the offense has kind of dried up. Logan Cooley, I think similarly to if I had Fantilli on this, I think Cooley is going to take another step this year after a very solid 44-point rookie year. I could easily see him go for 55, 60 this year. But again, when talking about a number one center, when talking about the guys that I even have in the second lowest tier right now, he still has a long way to go. He still has to take some pretty massive leaps in order to be in that tier. Mika Zibanejad, you can make an argument that it should be Trocheck. I'm going to put him in good as well. I think he's on the same caliber of those guys. Hopefully for the Rangers, he can bounce back to being that 90-point guy. This most recent year was a little bit of a dip, and his even strength offense kind of completely dried up. He had something like 5 or 6 even strength points in like the year of 2024. So he needs to work on his even strength offense, but still very good on the power play. And I think he's going to be better this season after a bit of a disappointing year last year. Tage Thompson, I'm going to go with elite. He also had a little bit of a disappointing year this year, but I still believe the underlying numbers were still very solid, on top of the fact that the unicorn kind of player that this guy is, 6'6", 6'7", skates the way that he has, the hands that he has on top of the shot. I think he's going to bounce back and be around 40 and 40, 45 and 45 kind of player. I think all of Buffalo is going to bounce back for the most part, and it starts with Tage Thompson. Elias Pettersson, star, 102 points last year or 2 years ago. This year, still very solid, as well as he's probably going to be in Selke conversations this year. He is definitely a star center. Joel Eriksson Ek, I might put him, I might move Joel Eriksson Ek up a tier, considering he is so good defensively, on top of this year kind of being a breakout offensive year, his best offensive year yet. Right now, I'm going to put him in elite, though. Nazem Kadri, very good season last year, 75 points. Not sure if he's going to replicate it this year. He definitely is a lower end kind of guy. Austin Matthews, best. He isn't best. People hate on him nonstop. 69 goals, Selke level defense. Grow up. He is a no doubt top 7 or 8 player in the entire NHL. We got Connor McDavid, also the best player in the entire NHL. Connor Bedard, I'm going to put him in I really think that he is a star, though. I really think on any other team, he'd be going for 90, 95, 100 points this year. I still think he's going to go for 90 this year. I think he's going to not prove a lot of people wrong. Everybody thinks he's amazing, but I think he's going to take that next step this year. Matty Beniers, solid. Sorry. After the 57-point rookie year, he fell off a decent amount this year offensively. Still very good defensively, but needs to get back on track offensively. You got to put him in solid as of right now. Dylan Larkin, he's elite though. Dylan Larkin is around a 35 goal, 45 assists, 90-point pace guy while being very good defensively. He's done that on pretty shit Wings teams outside of last year. So I have Dylan Larkin in elite. Mark Scheifele, good. Gives you around point per game. Not a ton of defense to his game, but he's about as consistent of a scorer as you're going to find in the National Hockey League. Leo Carlsson, love Leo Carlsson, but as of right now, similarly to a Logan Cooley, right now, he's definitely kind of just the number one center in Anaheim because they don't really have anybody else. I think he's eventually going to be a franchise center, no doubt. And this year, I still think he's going to go for like 55, 60 points, but when compared to his peers, Robert Thomas, one of the best passers in the entire NHL, on top of having a career year from goal scoring perspective. I think that, I'm not too high on the Blues this year, but if he had more talent around him, he would be a consistent 85 to 90 point guy. Next up, we got Sebastian Aho, and I'm going to put him in star after an 89-point season in 78 games in a Rod Brindamore system, not the most conducive to offensive explosions. I think he really cemented himself as a top 30, probably top 25 player in the NHL. Amazing defensively, and now you're really seeing him take those next steps offensively into hopefully hitting 90 points next year. Jack Hughes, this might surprise some people. I'm going to put him just in star right now. After a bit of a down year last season, I'm not putting him with the elites of the elites. At this point, I think he's probably going to have a great season, but until I see him yet again get to at least 98 points like he had in 2023, I'm going to put him in star for now. Dylan Strome up next. Dylan Strome, you can maybe make an argument for good. He's the best guy out of this row heading into next season, but I am going to throw him in solid right now. You get around, 67 points last year. He's good defensively. Actually, no, I'm going to defend Dylan Strome. I'm going to put him in good. Now that I said it, considering I have other guys that have put up around similar offensive numbers while he's also very good defensively, I'm going to put Strome in good. Crosby, star. I think at this point, he's not quite on the same level as McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews. Still amazing. Still, I think he was 10th or 9th on my top 10, but I don't think that he's quite in that top 5 centers in the NHL. Well, top 4, actually, I think it's going to end up being, but he is in star. Tim Stützle, elite. I think he's going to get back. I've said it 9,000 times. I think he's going to get back on track to be that guy that we saw in 2023. Macklin Celebrini, he's a rookie. He's an 18-year-old. You can't have too many expectations for him. If he puts up 50 to 55 points, that's a massive win from a rookie year perspective. And it's not like, although he's going to have some talent around him like Eklund and Toffoli, it's not like he has these superstar wingers around him. Then Alexander Barkov, I'm going to put him in best Selke winner, 2-time Selke winner when he is healthy, around 90 to 95 points, best defensive center in the NHL at this point. So and especially after helping lead the Florida Panthers to a Stanley Cup, I think he cemented himself in the best. Elias Lindholm, by the way, I added a second McKinnon for some reason. Obviously, disregard that. I'm not multiplying McKinnons. Who did I just have? Elias Lindholm. Nothing special. I didn't really like that signing that much. I think he's going to put up decent numbers this year just because he's probably going to be playing with David Pastrnak, who's like a one-man offense, but I don't think that he's a true number one center. Rupe Hintz, elite. I think he's going to get back on track after a bit of a down year last year, only 65 points. We saw when this guy is cooking, he can be 40 and 40 while also very good defensively, and as a result, I think he's going to get back on track, him and Jason Robertson. Nick Suzuki, also elite. This year, he was very good offensively, 33 goals, 44 assists, 77 points, while playing great defense. I thought he should have got way more Selke love, so as a result, he is an elite. And then lastly, hand up, I almost forgot him, but at the last minute I remembered. Braden Point. I felt like I was missing someone, and he obviously goes in the star category after back-to-back 90-point seasons, back-to-back over 44 goals. 2-time Stanley Cup champion as number one center. He is definitely in the star category. Yeah. Here it is in all its glory. Here is my centers, number one centers tier list. Let me know in the comments, who'd you move up, who'd you move down. I'll be seeing the next one.